I'm Jackie Lucky, your Financial Planning Maestro. This series of podcasts is aimed at financial planning professionals and also those who are looking to enter the financial planning profession. We will be talking during the podcast about all things Certified Financial Planner certification related, talking to other CFPs around the world, and also we will be dropping in on some new entrants who've just entered the financial planning profession, and we'll be checking up along the way on a regular basis with them to see how they're getting on. I hope you enjoy today's podcast. So hello and welcome everyone. I'm Jackie Lucky, your Financial Planning Maestro. And in this podcast, we are going to be talking to two new people who have just joined the financial planning profession. And we're doing this podcast in conjunction with the Verve. So welcome to Meg and Wicks and James Winship. Well, welcome both of you.
Yep. Hi, it's great to be here.
Yeah, hi, great to be here as well.
Excellent. So we are going to follow your journey from just coming into the financial services profession. And I know that, James, you have just started to become a paraplanner, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. We started February this year.
Yeah, February the 1st, so officially 6 months.
Excellent. And just tell us briefly, James, to start with, tell us about your background, you're a university student, aren't you? Tell us where you went, what you studied, all of those kinds of things.
So I studied down in Norwich at the University of East Anglia. It was quite a long way from where I'm from, up in the northeast. But I went down and I studied history and politics down there.
Okay.
It was a very interesting time to be studying politics, to be honest.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
I absolutely loved my time down there. And I ended up actually straight from uni. I went into a PR agency based in the northeast, and I was writing press releases. I was doing research for care homes. It was for local newspapers. I really enjoyed that. I thought it gave me a really good experience, and it taught me some valuable skills coming into my new role as a paraplanner.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And Megan, you were at university as well. Whereabouts did you study, and what subject did you study?
Yes, I did. I went to Newcastle University and I studied French and history. And I actually graduated mid-COVID last year, 2020. So unfortunately, neither James or I could have our usual fun graduation celebration. I actually had a little garden party, which was very different, but very nice.
Yeah.
With doing French, I was able to study abroad for a year, which was really, really rewarding. I went into teaching for the year, which gave me an insight to that industry and evidently put me off.
Right. Okay. Well, that's understandable. My parents come from a teaching background as well. So, yeah. So tell us, Megan, to start with, what brought you, well, pair of you actually, but what brought you to the Verve? What brought you into financial services?
Well, I am a home bird, contrasting to the fact that I did French. I really wanted to stay in and around the northeast. And when I was applying for jobs, I realised that most, if not all, grad schemes around here are all finance-based. And I decided that as finance is an area where I hadn't worked in, I really wanted to challenge myself for the industry experience. And when I went to career days at university, I'd learned that people who study foreign languages are actually really well suited to careers in finance, as it's something to do with both of our brains are really good at solving equations.
That's interesting. And you chose the compliance route.
Yes, I did. Well, I'm actually not very mathematically minded, and I've realised that compliance is really, really universal. So as someone that really likes to follow structure, I really like to be in a routine. I find that compliance is an ideal role for someone like me, as it's really based around structure. Compliance lays out the foundation of all financial services, and it's helped me understand different aspects from within.
Yeah. And I think also, having degrees, both of you having degrees in completely different subjects, hopefully will bring, more colour to the jobs that you do, and how you progress in the future. Because I think you'll be, your experiences so far, you can bring to bear, on the jobs that both of you are doing. So I think that's a great thing. And actually, quite a common misconception in the financial planning profession is that, we need to seek financial professionals or, degree level students who have degrees in, maths or even financial wealth investment related subjects, which I don't think is necessarily true, because it's about the disciplines that you come along with. And so, James, tell us what brought you and what attracted you to parasols and your interest in becoming a paraplanner.
Well, I think you actually hit the nail on the head there. It was, without meaning to sound cliche, finance is something that's always been of interest, but it's not really been something that I ever thought that I could kind of get involved with. So at school, I was always split academically between kind of being very mathematical and being quite writing based, I want to say. Yeah. And I think as I got older, I kind of leaned more towards the writing. I think that's where I found my bit of a natural flair. And it was kind of one of them where I just assumed that finance was very numerical. And it was a role that I didn't really even know was out there until I stumbled across the Verve. And they kind of, they showed and they emphasised that it's the raw skills they're after. The knowledge can kind of come a little bit later. Yes. And I think that was brilliant. And that really helped me get involved with it. I think another big factor with it as well is the opportunity for the professional development. So I'd like to think I'm quite ambitious, and I really want to further myself quite far. And at the Verve, they offer a brilliant training scheme. We're currently studying for our diploma in financial planning. And I think it was just a brilliant opportunity. And especially after that, you can kind of move off and you can go in any different direction that you want. Where your skill set's most suited or what you found the most interesting. Yes. And I think that was a big pull as well for me.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be really interesting as we follow the pair of you through your journey as you gain more qualifications and more experience along the way to see how your views change. Maybe you might have, ideas of things that, are your strengths now, and see how that changes, over the next 6 to 12 months, and see how you develop into your roles, your various roles, and see if you actually end up somewhere different. You never know. So, Megan, just give us a flavour of what you've been up to since February on your training scheme. So apart from the studying for the exams, which, in the financial services world is a given, everybody's eating textbooks like they're going out of fashion at the moment. Definitely. But what about those extra things that you've been doing over and above all the studying that you've probably been working your way through?
Well, at the Verve Group, there is an emphasis on you as an individual. Training is definitely tailored to your personal strengths. So no two training schemes are the same, really. We do have quite a lot of support here, and we've started to have monthly one-to-ones. So every month I speak with my boss at the Apricity side, and I've actually written my own personal development plan highlighting exactly what I want to achieve and when I want to achieve it by. They truly are true to their value, got your back, which is great. And in the Apricity side, I've been fortunate enough to be exposed to all different parts of the department, working with firms as part of our training and competence scheme, helping advisors get to where they want to be as individuals and as employees in their own firm. I've been working behind the scenes preparing for quarterly check-ins. I sit in quite a lot of the consultant meetings, writing a lot of the notes up and the documents that come adjacent with those meetings. So it is quite, again, on my side too, it's heavily written based as well, which I like. And I really do enjoy the social side as well, you know, going on Zoom calls with the advisors, getting to know them personally rather than just a name at the other side of an email. It's really great experience.
Yeah, so you're gaining quite a lot of experience already, aren't you? Kind of hitting the ground running by shadowing people and actually, you know, doing work in your own right, which I think is a fantastic thing. And James, just tell us, you know, a bit about what your experience has been so far, and perhaps tell us something. Give us one little nugget that has surprised you during your last 6 months at the Verve.
So it's been a very fast-paced kind of introduction, I think, to financial services. So when we first arrived, it was all about building up the knowledge for obviously for future use.
Yeah.
And we were all enrolled onto some online courses, which I thought was a brilliant grounding into some of the stuff that you'll be getting really stuck into, particularly as a paraplanner. You've got to kind of know the ins and outs of the policies that you're writing about.
Yeah.
And then we had a few weeks actually of understanding kind of the data gathering, the administration side of it. And again, I think that was it was a brilliant grounding in learning about the different plans and the different policy types and the different providers that you'll become involved with. And then since then, we've moved on to report writing already, which is something I've really enjoyed, actually. I love getting stuck into a big bit of writing. And yeah, so it's been very interesting. We've also been introduced to our own clients, kind of managing expectations and timescales and building up that client relationship, which I think has been very important.
Yes.
Already. Trying to think one nugget of information.
There's so many, isn't there?
Yeah.
So if you think back to when you first started, what perhaps your own expectations were and how it's starting to pan out, is it because perhaps, you know, everything's clearly been faster? You know, it's quite a fast pace of change, taking on not just the knowledge, but also sitting in kind of, you know, like you said, rolling your sleeves up and starting to write reports already. I mean, that's something that's really come upon you, isn't it? In the first 6 months. I mean, that's a great thing to start doing, because that's really where you gain all your experience.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking, I suppose all the grads that we joined with in our cohort, we were all very new to finance. And I think perhaps I'm speaking for myself here, but I was definitely very apprehensive about joining. As being new to it, it wasn't something that I was sure whether I'd be able to do. Would I be able to build up the knowledge sufficiently? And I think from the first day, the Verve have been really good. They've been saying it's about the raw skills. We'll tailor the structure around you, and we'll help build up your knowledge. And I think that's perhaps one of the nuggets that I'd say is make sure you ask as many questions as you can. No question is a stupid question, and it'll definitely come in useful. Make sure you keep as many notes as you can, and you'll soon find that the knowledge builds, and you'll feel like an expert, I think, on some policies. But even after only 6 months, I feel like I could tell you the ins and outs about certain plans and certain providers already.
Yeah, and I think, actually, for both of you, starting to apply that knowledge that you're rapidly gaining is one of the best ways of cementing, you know, that in your brain, so that in years to come, I mean, like you, James, I can still remember doing some of my studying, some of the tax implications, some very old pensions work and things like that. I can remember, it's been some decades since I was in your position, I have to say, but I could still remember all of those things. And I think that's part of it, is learning some of the technical stuff, but then actually getting a chance to apply it in the real world. And I think that really helps our little grey cells take it all in. So I think that's a fantastic thing. And Megan, what about you? What's one of your highlights so far?
Well, other than passing RO1, which is a huge weight off my shoulders.
Well done.
And yeah, well, thank you. Before sitting the exam as well, I felt like I had something to prove. The Verve group had taken me on, they trusted me, so I felt like I had the pressure of needing to pass. But now I have passed, I feel like I'm even more part of the team now. I'm not as worried as doing my other exams. I've got RO5 next Monday, so fingers crossed that all goes well. But aside from exams, I think one of my highs from working here is the fact that I've been trusted with a lot of responsibility so soon into the scheme. It's really great to be able to sit in those meetings and given the opportunity to speak on behalf of the company. So just the overall responsibility I'm given, I think, is a really great highlight for me.
Yeah, and I think that's a fantastic thing, a fantastic opportunity for you. And good luck with RO5 on Monday.
Thank you very much.
Well, let us know. Yes, let us know next month how you've got on. Mm-hmm. And I think that, moving forward on this podcast, we will help, hopefully, with your permission, delve about in both the highs and the lows of your journey as you go through things that you would like to share with other people who perhaps are considering the profession. So to the pair of you, a little quick question before we close. Is there anything that you would say, knowing now 6 months in, what would you say to other people in your situation who maybe come across an advert for a job in financial services that have no background or knowledge at all in it at the moment?
Well, I'd say try and not lean into the fact that the cliche that finance is all suits and 9 till 5, all work, no play. Try not to think of it as impossible and structured in a way that's really negative. Try to open your doors. It may seem really daunting at first, but get stuck in and the knowledge will come. Already I've learned so much on the grad scheme and I have loved every minute of being involved in the financial industry. So keep positive, keep an open mind. That's what I'd say to myself. Yeah. To others.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. And James?
So I was just going to echo that sentiment, really. I think the thing that I'd say to them is just go for it. And don't let your preconceptions cloud your judgment, because I think there's a lot of fantastic roles out there and there's a lot of fantastic career opportunities that people aren't even aware of. And if you don't just go for it and if you don't take a chance, you might just stumble across something that you absolutely love. And that is, it's been a fantastic opportunity for me and I don't think I'd change anything.
Oh, that's great to hear. That's fantastic. And I think for many people, there is that kind of preconceived idea that financial services, as Megan, as you put it, with suits and Rolex watches and flashy cars, and it's all about sales and, all of those things. But it's not about that actually at all. And actually with the way that regulation has changed, it's so much about the relationship with the client. And obviously the pair of you in your various roles will, obviously both of you starting to get to know your clients already, the financial advisors and planners that you're going to be supporting in the months and years to come. So well done to the pair of you for being brave and taking that step and thinking, right, I'm going to give it my all. And hopefully in the coming months, we'll here on the podcast, we'll be able to support you along the way as well.
Yeah, so that sounds great.
Thank you for your time, the two of you. Really great to meet you and get a flavour of the first 6 months of your journey. And our listeners are going to be really interested to see how you develop, sharing some of your highs and lows as the months go by. So thanks once again.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been great.
Excellent. Good. So we will join us again next month. We're going to try and catch up with Megan and James on a monthly basis to see how they're getting on, and just a quick check-in to share some of their experiences along the way. Thanks to the Verve for putting you both forward, and it's been a real pleasure to meet you. So thanks again, and goodbye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. It's quite interesting to listen to the different views and discussions with different people, isn't it? Join me next time when we'll be discussing all things certified financial planner related and catching up with those new to the financial planning profession. Bye for now.